time I got on the internet, I did 2 emails, and I ordered Christmas presents from a reservation. Otherwise, I found people said embarrassing things on emails. I didn't want to be one of them. That was crazy.
Okay, there you go. Joining us now is Webb Hubbell, the former Assistant Attorney General of the United States, former Hillary Clinton law partner, and author of a book, great book, called Ginger Snaps. There it is. We're putting it up on your screen. And Webb, welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Well, it's my pleasure. All right, so that Bill Clinton, talking about how he never goes on the internet, or he only did it twice, and it was back in the 90s, and he doesn't do email. Yet Hillary Clinton, when she gave her defense of, the whole email controversy, here's some of what she had to say then.
The server contains personal communications from my husband and me, and I believe I have met all of my responsibilities, and the server will remain private, and I think that the State Department will be able, over time, to release all of the records that were.
Well, I mean, so Webb, who's telling the truth here? Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton?
They both could be telling the truth, Steve.
How so?
Well, she could have been emailing him. He just didn't read it.
Well, Webb.
Let me finish.
Okay.
And he could have been telling his assistant to let Hillary know where he was going to be, or where they were going to meet for dinner, or things like that. He didn't just personally go on the internet and email, but his assistant could have been, and she may have considered that being personal communications between her husband and herself. I don't know, because I hadn't talked to her about it, but it's certainly both of them could be true.
All right, so but aren't we once again entering into the realm of what's commonly known as Clinton speak? Depends on what the meaning of the word is. I mean,
I think you're splitting hairs a little bit.
What's that?
You're splitting hairs a little bit.
But aren't they splitting the hairs?
I don't know. I mean, the point is that as long as it's personal communications between a husband and wife, I don't care what they said to each other.
No, but he says he doesn't go on the internet. He doesn't do email. He never did it. And she's talking about how they email. They communicate through email. So it just all right. I mean, we'll agree to disagree. But to me, it sounds like it doesn't sound like Clinton speak to you.
Doesn't sound like Clinton speak. It sounds like they're both talking about 2 different things.
Okay, fair enough. Now let me ask you this. Hillary's numbers in the polls have been, over the years and over the months, have been shrinking when it comes to trustworthiness, honesty, and independence, especially among independents. How does she turn this around? Because how do you win a general election when an overwhelming majority of people say you're not trustworthy?
There's only one poll that counts, and that's the actual election. So I wouldn't get too worked up about polls, especially a year and a half away from an election. I think the real truth is once they get out on the campaign trail, once they start talking about real issues as opposed to email servers, then ultimately we're going to have a race between a Republican and a Democrat. I think the Democrat will be Hillary, and it's down to one person against one person. And the issues, who knows what they're going to be 18 months from now. So I'm not that worried about a poll.
All right. What about the Republican field as you size people up? I would imagine, I mean, I'm just guessing off the top of my head, the person you're most familiar with, either because you know him or you don't know him, but you live in Arkansas, it would be Mike Huckabee, right?
He'd probably be the one I know the most, but I really don't know much about any of them. They're pretty obscure, except for Jeb Bush, of course.
You think they're pretty obscure? I mean, you got sitting governors, you got former governors, and you mentioned Bush. Bush is one of them. You got I think 4 U.S. senators, a former U.S. senator. Is that your definition of obscure?
No, obscure to me, who's lived in North Carolina and Arkansas. Okay, maybe not obscure to you. The real point is we have no idea who's going to be their nominee. I mean, there are people getting into the race on the Republican side every other day. So who knows? It may be somebody that nobody's even thought about yet.
What do you think is the main issue at this point, Webb, facing the nation? And there's a lot. I mean, that includes domestic, that includes international, that includes, you know, security. What do you think? What do you think is the main issue on Americans' minds right now?
It will always be, when it's time to vote, the economy, and whether people have jobs, you know, and people have meaningful jobs, and whether they have an opportunity to advance, and which party, which candidate makes them feel like they're going to have the best chance for this economy to get better, and for them to have a better job. There are a lot of people out there without very good jobs.
And do you think Hillary will have to separate herself from Barack Obama's economic policies?
You know, separate herself from George Bush's policies as well as Barack Obama's.
But George Bush hasn't had policies for 8 years.
Yeah, but a lot of the problems we're facing, a lot of the deficits go back to a war that he started.
All right, let me ask you real quick. Ginger Snaps is the second book, and we got 30 seconds. So what was the first book?
First book was When Men Betray,
right,
and it was set in Arkansas. And now Ginger Snaps is again set in Arkansas, and you're going to like it a lot.
Yeah, all right. And I know you're working on a third book, which we won't even talk about yet, but there's the book on your screen, folks. Webb, it really is a pleasure to speak to you, sir. Look forward to talking to you again.
Same here. Look forward to it.
Thank you. Webb Hubbell, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. All right, when we come back, we'll throw that Clinton stuff and more at the Malzberg panel. So don't miss it. It's up next.